That's you. All right, Mr. Bandit Keef. Or sorry, I assumed your gender. Is that?
Yep, the right gender.
You go by Frog, Froge.
Mr. Frog.
Mr. Frog. All right, Buccaneer 271. How is life? How is Maple life?
It's been good. Kind of in the pitch waiting room right now. Off the 5, 10, 15, got my gloves to 21. Got a bunch of stuff to 18. Got my mules to 17. So it was a pretty good event this month or so. So it's been good. But pretty broke now since I used up all the reserves. So.
And what's the just right off the bat? What's the thought in getting a 21 instead of like getting everything to 19 first?
I wanted to finish the gloves. I think that was the first thing I wanted to cube. I wanted to try to roll double crit. I want to move off the sharp eyes line and try to roll double crit. So yeah.
You feel like it needed a Star Force to warrant that?
Yeah. To justify me trying to spend more money trying to roll the line.
Gotcha. Okay. This is after the session, right? Roll 4.
Yes, this is after.
Nice. Roll 4 big.
Yeah.
You have any continuous as well, or no?
Cont too, but I don't use it.
I guess it's probably fine if you're doing like the weaker weekly bosses, but then you probably just want to use drop rate ring instead, right?
Yeah.
So it doesn't really, switching between it is kind of a waste. Okay. Pitch waiting room. Black Mage status?
I'm not sure. See, that's one of my main questions. I'm not sure if I'm Black Mage ready. I don't know the settings for like the BA and all that stuff.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
So kind of don't know any of the mechanics and all that. So that's mainly the reason why I'm here, wondering if I'm ready and all that stuff.
Okay. So for BAs, we have !BA. Call out for everyone as well who's ever seeing this to check out !BA. Submit your mobbing or bossing BAs. You can submit your class. Is Jet still in here? I think I took Jet out now, right? Yeah. No longer playable. RIP Jet, or Space Cowboy, flying into space forever. Bossing, next. And then it'll ask you which BA you want to submit. So if you look for Black Mage, you can see the stats here.
Oh, okay.
And you can see the numbers that you're trying to go for. So for like sports, hit like 60 bill a second. So you could do like a 6-minute rotation where you do all of your skills twice, origin once. To kind of like even that out, because the origin, usually it was always a 3-minute, right? 2-minute or 3-minute, depending on what people's burst rotation was. Because the first stage is the only one that can get bound. So typically you just like bind P1 and like nuke it and get out of it, because it gets really dodgy if you don't just one nuke it. So that's why this damage requirement is here as well, to at least make sure that you can get out of P1 relatively quickly, and that you don't have a run that takes forever. You can kill it within 30 minutes as long as your mechanics are there, so that you can just pop 30-minute burst buffs in the beginning and then just have them not run out before the boss fight's over, kind of thing. But yeah, some people will be a little bit lower, some people will be a little bit higher, of course, and then hopefully you have a little bit of a balance of more DPM, more DPS kind of things, so that you can more evenly get through the boss. Mechanics is just something you have to get started on. There's a BM command as well, !BM, which in the past would sometimes crash my internet, so let's hope it doesn't do it this time. Because it's a pretty huge file with like...
Oh, that's what I need.
Millions of GIFs and like all of the animations and all of that. It's good to... Shout out to these people. It's good to just check that. There's like the items that you need if you want to start making keys. That's for the real runs, of course. For the practice runs, you don't need keys. So it's mostly just getting in there, getting 6 people together, and just kind of like running down the mechanics. The biggest thing is that essentially there's curse system, right? So there's a black curse and a white curse, and these items will be floating over your head. So black curse increases 15% increase in all damage received by the player, 10% final damage increase for yourself, but you cannot heal.
Oh.
And this is the one that you will pretty much have most of the fight. So you basically assume that you have Black Curse all the time, because the skills that will give you this are the hardest to avoid. But you'll also deal more damage when you're hit with it, so it's kind of a good thing. But that means that everything that will give you a White Curse, so this recovers your HP a little bit, and you can also still heal when you're in White Curse. But you lose final damage, and you create an explosion that will deal damage to you and your teammates if they get hit by it, which deals 20% HP, which is not so nice. But you'll be able to heal through it, but your teammates on the other curse won't. But the main thing is, if you already have one curse and you get hit by a skill that gives the other curse, you lose a life. You don't die, but you lose a life.
How many lives do we have for the run?
So you have 12. But you can lose lives without dying, right? Because of the curse deaths. So it is possible to just get hit, and just lose like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 without actually dying. Because you're staying alive, you can actually lose your lives quicker.
Okay.
So it's a matter of really just assume that you're always going to be in Black Curse. If you're low on HP, try to dodge everything and just slam heal so that you can get your HP back up. Because remember, you can't heal while in Black Curse. And if you basically want to look mainly to all the skills that give White Curse, and those are the ones you want to priority avoid, and everything else you kind of just want to tank. So because there's so much going on in Black Mage, it's not really feasible to just say I'm just going to dodge everything. It's more like knowing what are the biggest dangerous things, and those I'm going to dodge, and the other stuff you almost want to like actively jump into, right? It's kind of like the thing of if somebody throws 2 balls at you, most of the time if you try to catch both, you drop both. But if you go for one, you can 100% catch that one, right? So that's kind of like what this boss fight will teach you, that you want to pick not safety, but like the lesser of two evils kind of thing. So there's a whole...
Kind of like Dunk now.
Kind of, yeah. So there might be a bunch of things that could kill you. You have to know how much percent which things hit you, and then jump into the safest thing kind of vibe, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so similar. So there's a bunch of information about P1, but typically P1, you have two big statues. What you want to do is get them to stack together, bind them, and then just nuke them. So you can hit both of them at the same time, because they have one big shared HP bar. If you don't kill them, because now you also have Origin, right? So you have 2 binds essentially in a row, so you have a 10 second and another 10 seconds. You have 20 seconds to nuke them down and kill them. With a whole party of 6 people, it takes a little bit of coordination. It takes a little bit of timing and just some rules set up, like nothing that reflects damage, because then they can aggro onto you. But basically you have one person who aggroes them, the other people just stand aside, wait until you see the bind marker, and then go in, nuke it, and then the person who gets out of their Origin, who did the bind and does a regular bind, and then you should be out within like the 20 seconds. That'll just take some practice and someone who's willing to do the binding part. But yeah, that's basically all it is. If you don't, the statues will start diving around, they'll start rushing, they'll start giving the curses, big lasers will appear that you cannot pass through or you're just dead. The side of the map will start like shrinking, metal spikes will start falling down and crushing you like that. It becomes a giant shit show. And especially now because we have unlimited practice mode and everything, like if something goes wrong, you basically just like leave and wait for your Origins to come back, or you just leave and just go in again and practice, try again, because like if you want to solo, then you might have to deal with these mechanics for a bit and kind of learn about this. But like these are the spikes that give you the Black Curse. Like this is why you always have Black Curse on, because it's like impossible to like these falling ones, those give white, so that's why you want to dodge that. But like you just cannot dodge all of these chains, right? So it's not really possible. So that's why just assume that you have Black Curse, spam heal if you're on low, and then try to dodge everything, but otherwise focus on the things that give White Curse. So that's like these, we call them meatballs or whites is usually what people call them, because they give White Curse. They always fall in like a curtain, either from the left to the right or the right to the left, and you can, so it's just a little bit about timing, but you basically want to walk these. So you look for the placement and you just walk through them essentially.
Okay.
If you were to get hit, you'll see like an effect pop up that looks like the life counter, and you'll lose 1 life, but you'll stay alive typically if you have enough HP, because these don't do that much damage. But you could also remember, because if you're in Black Curse, you also take more damage, right? So if there's enough damage, like the spikes in P2, for example, that are really big and give White Curse, and you already have Black Curse, then you're probably going to die, to the curse and to the HP, so you lose 2 lives at once. And then it can go real quick.
Okay. Because I try to practice run, I'm like, how am I dying? Like, what am I dying to?
Yeah.
You know?
So it could just be 2 skills hitting you, but you don't die, but you still lose life. So it's a completely different way of looking at a boss fight, that it's not just about your HP, it's also about your status. And one thing added to this, and this is probably mentioned here as well, thieves can use dark side to just tank things. It's kind of broken.
Wow.
But you want your will skill, so your hero's will and your Urda's will on keys that are available, because you can prevent the next thing that hits you from giving you a curse, because it counts as a hard CC. So if you do get into a bad pattern, into a corner where you can't really escape, but you do have full HP, you might be able to just press your whatever will skill and jump through it, and even tank 1. And if the HP doesn't kill you, then you won't get the curse either, so that won't hit you either.
It's kind of like a cheat strat to the.
It's like a mini iframe kind of, so that you can like immune a mechanic, but you can't. So it's still possible that you die, but then even if you do die, you'll only die once instead of twice, right? Because you won't take the curse death. So that's why those skills are valuable, and leveling up your Urda's Will is also very valuable, because the cooldown goes down significantly, and that'll make it so that you can just use it more. Because in the beginning, the boss fights are going to be pretty long. You might think like, oh wow, it still has got like a 4 or 5 minute cooldown or something. But if the boss fight is 20 minutes, that means you can still use it 4 or 5 times, which could be 4 or 5 lives saved, right? So
yeah.
There will be some situations. The longer the boss fight is, the more situation there will be that where it's like, oh fuck, like I literally can't do anything. Hopefully you have iframe available. For you, it'll be a little bit tougher because your iframes are all in your burst, right? So some people get the curring from the Stellar Detectives, which can give you up to 10 seconds of invincibility, but you cannot move. So, you know, sometimes Night Lords will use that so that they sacrifice some damage, but at least they're unhittable, and then they can get 10 seconds of burst off. During the boss fight. Also, the boss fight is a little bit different than in the beginning, because with origin skills you can also bind P2 and P3 and P4, which wasn't possible before. But P4 is a instance session, so you're basically on your own. But for P2 and P3, that might make it so that people want to kind of like desync their origin buffs, so that you can have him bound every single time he's bindable by origin, rather than trying to optimize your origins in the way of making the damage go on as high as possible, if that makes sense.
I see. Yeah. It's trying to cycle through the origin so you can get as many binds off through the boss fight. Yeah,
so there's as much time as possible where you can have one fewer thing that you have to worry about, because P1, so this should be very short, should be not very much going on if you get your shit in order. So it looks something like this, like you get the aggro. Here you see so here you see them stacking, and then boom, here you want to bind them. And then you call out your team, and then everyone jumps over, and then just starts wailing on it. Now, because we have the indicator under the HP bar, this is also why it's important not to go too far. So typically people go in and go to the right side. Don't go too far to the right side, because you have to travel that way back, and the longer you have to travel, the more of your burst time you lose, right?
I see.
So as soon as you basically just keep the bosses like in the left side of your screen where you can just see them. And as soon as they dash away, like move towards them so you can get closer, so you can immediately start bursting. But once you see the bind under the HP bar, then you just rush over and slam them. You see here he used the Urda's Will, actually. You can see it in action. Because he saw the white dashing in and has a pretty big hitbox. And he didn't want to get hit by that dash because he already had the Black Curse. See, you saw that dash? Boom. Willed, so he took the damage rather than lose his life to the curse there. Yeah, exactly. Not a death, but like a life loss. But yeah, so not a single life loss. Yep. So that's well skilled here. I would have lost a life there 100%. So this is a good gif. It's all still P1, but yeah, so P1 should be fine. Purple meteors. Well, this is already part of. Oh wait, there's already P2. Did I miss? Oh, phase 2. Yeah. So phase 2 has got like Black Mage in the background. It's got very similar mechanics. So now it introduces a few extra things. You've got the meteors. They always come flying in diagonally, and they roll towards the side that they are the furthest of when they land. So you see this one lands about in the middle, but just a little bit more to the left, so he'll roll to the right. Sometimes they come pretty far, but in general they land more on the left side of the map. So if you have Dark Sight, you can play a little bit on the left side, and you can just tank them while they're in the air. But everyone else has to like jump to the right side. And this is like yeah, this is kind of like a picture of like a bad pattern, because you've got the whites coming and the rollings coming as a curtain. You can't really get in there. You can't really walk these whites, right? Because the rollings are right there as well. So this is like a moment where you either, if you have a short cooldown iframe, you pop that and you jump through it. Or you make sure your HP is up and you pop one of your will skills and you jump through it. Because you can't stay in the corner. What some people will do, what's quote-unquote feels the safest, is just up jump in the corner and blink and stay in the air. But then if you get a bad chain pattern, because there's a pattern that hits 3 times or there's a pattern that hits 7 times. And if you get 7 in a row and you're just hanging in the air, the chains are just going to kill you because it's too much HP for you to handle. So the safest is make sure your HP gets high-ish up. And kind of like stutter step, kind of like stagger the chains so that those don't hit you, so you can heal up, and then pop one of the will skills and basically just tank one of the balls in the air and then just float in the air for a little bit. And then if you're unlucky, there will also be a spike right underneath you, right, at the same time, you know? And then sometimes it's just kind of unavoidable. But for those, you have iframe, and for everything else, you have MasterCard. That's where the iframes come in. But yeah, as a buck, again, it's going to be pretty tricky for you. So you'll have to rely on your HP shield tanking, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my advanced dashes trying to weave through like little crevices and stuff.
Yeah, so it could be that in this situation, like once you see those, the purples are like around the middle, that you just like pop the will skill and just super jump through over all of the rolling, just hit like face tank one of the whites before the spikes get you, and then you might be able to tank the whole thing, basically. That could be an out for you. Yeah.
Quick question, Art. So
Sure.
the Black Mage, like the hits, all his attacks, are the hitbox pretty forgiving, or are they kind of BS?
So the purple rolling ones, the hitbox here is very much in front of the ball. And all of this cloud stuff behind it doesn't really do anything. So you really want to respect the front of this one. For everything else is very straightforward. What you see is what the hitbox is, kind of thing.
Okay. I was just wondering if there's any BS like range attacks that would, you know, that looks off but like will kill you type of thing.
It's not like Helix Breath or something, if that's what you mean, where it's like, it just does like a little pink cloud here and you die on the opposite side of the map. No, it's sometimes there's like just a giant electricity on the ground that just means don't stand on the ground, but it's also not a continuous attack. That's in part 3. So if your timing is lucky, you could just jump at the right times and just not die at all, or you just could get zapped and insta-killed. So it's something that you don't really want to risk. Yeah, it's the main thing. The rolling meteor, you just have to jump a little sooner than you might think, because it hits like right there, like that purple cloud thingy on the front, that might already hit. But then the whole back 50% of this is safe, so you can fall into that. That's mainly useful in P3, because P3 he will be moving, and the whole fight is basically like P2. You're gonna get this. It looks like there's a whole lot going on, and there is a whole lot going on. And then there's timers, and there's tests, and there's FMAs, and there's the spikes extra and everything. These spikes are going to be a dream, because like this thing will happen, and all of these are like 90% damage, I think. Yeah, 90%. On extreme, they're 100%. Well, you know, you don't want to get hit by those either way. And then you have like rollings and whites at the same time. You could be blinded as well, so you can't even see anything. You know, that's also a thing that he can do. Good times. But you'll see that the corner is safe here. So the spikes all have like predetermined spawn locations. So all the way in the left corner and all the way in the right corner, they cannot reach ever. So if you have a whole screen full of them, for you, it's just like a jump to a side. But of course, you know, if the whites are coming, you might face tank one of those. And if you have a black curse on, then boom, you lose life to that, even if you're not dying to damage, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so, yeah, a few things are safe to just jump from one side to another, unless you have the timing. So the timings are kind of known. In the beginning, it might be a good idea to have like a 7th person as like kind of like a Black Mage coach. In the voice call as well, who can keep track of timers. There's like an app for it as well that somebody made, where you can basically just call out like, oh, in 3 seconds this is gonna happen, or this skill is up, so you know that you have to be careful for that skill coming. It's really useful for the FMAs, because you want to play right side most of the time, right? Because you don't have dark sight. But for the FMA, you want to be in the middle because you either have to stay in the middle or go all the way left or all the way right. Now, for you, it's a bit different because you could just stand on one side and just super jump and then just reach the other side of the map because, you know, you can jump that
Mobility.
far. Yeah, exactly. You have the mobility to be a little bit more cheeky there. But again, you could, like, yeah, grab a curse or grab some damage from something on the way there because you'll be able to move quickly, but you won't be able to see what's there before you're already getting hit by it. So that'll be the downside.
Yeah.
P2 FMA timer is pretty easy. A bunch of the things, like, I don't know the timers, like, off the top of my head. Like, I know that FMAs are a minute. That's a good thing to know. Again, if you have, like, an iframe, that has, like, a minute cooldown, you know not to use it in between tests, because that means the next test you might not have it. But that's mostly for P3. Again, for P2, you don't want to count on iframe for your test. You want to count on positioning, being in the correct spot. So, yeah, this is blind. This is... like, you're really blinded. Like, you really just can't see stuff at all anymore. So the big thing is going to be spike scanning you while you're blinded. So you always want to be looking around and looking at your character because you might see spikes spawning. And then once you get a feeling for how long a spike is there before it hits, even blind shouldn't be able to kill you with spikes. The only thing that can kill you is if, like, rollings, for example, spawn right now and you didn't see them and you're a little bit too close to the middle and a rolling might, like, smack you in the head there, you know? So,
I see.
yeah, your positioning will get better once you die to some stuff, and you'll be like, okay, that's not as safe as I wanted it to be, kind of thing. But you'll mainly be in the middle a lot, right? So that your frenzy can, your Lord of the Deep can hit, and so you're just like dashing around them a little bit, right?
Yeah.
That'll be your main thing. And as you're zooming, hopefully you dodge as many of the chains as possible. Yeah, if you do get low HP, try to focus on dodging the chains for a bit, and as soon as you see the curse over your head go away, slam potion, and then you can go right back in and get back to damaging. The eyes do continuous damage when they float over you. These are instanced, so everyone will have their own eyes. The most annoying is like during tests. So here you might have seen you see the test pattern. So you see he'll have both of the orbs on his hand, like here. So that's the test pattern, and that's the activation of the center. It'll show later here as well. Here, yeah. So this is just, but it has a similar animation for the chains, but it's slightly different. So this is left side, but you'll know around what time it is, right? And then this is middle, so you can see the purple and the red. And then just right side will be just the purple on the right side. But then if the eyeball is also over you at the same time, this is actually quite a lot of damage. And it'll just keep pelting you, so you can try like go a little bit to one side and then move a little bit to the other side, but you have a pretty small box where you can stand and where you can do things. So if any of your team members has any kind of heal, because it also gives Black Curse, I believe. Does it say? I give gives Black Curse, right, chat? Am I missing that? So you can't just like, potion your way out of it. Oh, here they talk about the corner, about the spikes. It says Black Curse. Am I just reading over it? Oh, here's Black Curse. Oh, I was looking for the red text. Whoops. Yeah. So you'll see, once you have the FMA, you just walk into a corner, and here you can see what the safe spots are. So it's really just, the actual corner, or it's right in the middle, or it's the other corner. Yeah, just try to yell it out and get there as fast as possible. You'll probably get there pretty quickly. You can get there, from the other side of the map faster than most other people.
Yeah. And it's based on his hand, right? Like the FMA is based on which hand he pops the circle in.
Yeah.
Like the side.
Yeah. Whatever the side is. Yeah. So sometimes the eyes will be like floating over, let's say, his right hand, and you'll see the left one. So you call left. But the right one might also be on, and you have to stay in middle, right? So sometimes it's a little hard to see. So like here, this one is a good example of where it's kind of tricky to see, right?
Yeah.
So, there might be some mistakes with that, and some people might be jumping around because they only see one of them. You have to... That's why it's good to have a call out on like when the FMA is roughly, because then you can really like look very closely at him to make sure that you see any kind of glance of like the purple and the red, but then the eyes also have purple and red, so there's just a lot of possible things.
A lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, and it'll go wrong a little bit. Yeah, And but this is still, you know, the second easiest, maybe the third easiest phase once you get the P4 down. So the big thing for the spikes, usually they're not all in one go, as long as you're running my runs. In my runs, we have some full screen spikes, but usually they have different timings. So there's a lot of mechanics in the game, kind of like the gloom purple beams, right? They're very similar to that, except way more deadly. But that you see them, you see which one is first, then you just jump there for safety, and then you can walk where the other ones were, right?
Yep.
So you kind of take them one at a time. So this is like where you don't want to be unless you have a dark sight. It's a tricky part. The falling white balls that go into the corner, the very last one, it should break just over your head. So that one shouldn't be hitting you, even if they're like falling like while you're in the FMA pattern and you can't actually, you have to be standing there in the corner, you can't dodge it. It should break just above your head. So you don't get like a cheap shot from that. That P2 will be very overwhelming in the beginning, but even after like 3 or 4 attempts, it'll feel way doable. Even if it seems like super scary now, it'll actually seem like it's pretty doable. The main thing is going to be the timings and seeing the FMAs properly and just not getting overwhelmed by the amount of stuff, but you'll get a lot better at it very quickly. The real thing that's gonna happen if you're like practicing well is that you get to P3 pretty quickly, probably, especially with the damage now with Origins and everything, and provided that everyone did the BA right and their damage is on point. You get to P3 pretty quickly, and P3 is where people need to practice the most and the longest, and this is the toughest one. So this is like an example of what P3 can look like. You still got the whites, you still got the rollings, right? But by this point, you're a little bit more used to those. You've also got these blue things flying around. These just give Dark Curse and don't deal that much damage, but they're basically there to punish you if you get hit by anything with White Curse. The lasers all get Black Curse, so again, you're basically always going to be Black Curse, right? Because there's just too much going on. But the main thing is that the Black Mage is doing jumping jacks in the air. So you can see the animation here, where he like stretches out his arms and his legs like that. That's what we call a kick, and that's what sends you flying through the map if it hits you, and gives you a White Curse. So again, the White Curse we don't want, because every little blue thing, every little laser will lose you a life, right? And you get knocked back and stunned for a little bit, which means that other things that you would be dodging otherwise will start hitting you. And then you get those little explosions around you. Other people with low HP can start dying to that, right? You just don't want to get kicked. Because the other thing is that he does is he sends out those lasers. And if there's no valid target for his lasers, he will send out super lasers. And the little blue lasers, those are like, remember in the category of things you want to jump into? Those super lasers, the regular lasers are the things you want to jump into because they're not that scary. The super lasers are in the category of, get me the fuck out of here, I'm dead. Even on full HP. Yeah, so sometimes he'll do the super lasers, and that's this pattern right here. You can see this shining thing. That's usually super lasers. But when he does those, it's just like a regular timing thing, and those patterns are very... there's not much going on. You can dodge those very easily, especially if you're on top of him. But the super lasers he does when he doesn't find a target, so either people are too far, for example, like they got kicked, right? Or they're ducking underneath the kick for too long and they can't be targeted. Those super lasers are scary super lasers. I don't know if they have a GIF here with an example, but there could be like, you know, like 14 of those giant, like this going on. Like, and all of those super lasers deal way more damage than the blue ones.
So the purple ones are the super lasers? The purple ones?
Yeah, so they've got wider, they've got wider hitboxes and they do more damage, and those are, yeah, you don't want to mess with those.
Okay.
So the goal is to get on top of him, to get him roughly in this spot. So you see like the planet in the background, or the whatever that is, a black hole, I don't know. And it's got like the ring around it, right? So where the ring is, if you draw like a vertical line down, that's roughly underneath him. That's roughly where you want to stand. That way you have enough space to the left to dodge things, like jump in the air, if there's rollings, for example, or, you know, float in the air a little bit with blink, and then come down, and then go back on top of him. If you have someone in the party who can slow, that's really useful, because then even if he does move, he doesn't move much, so you can just go back to him after the pattern. And that's why I mentioned like the rollings, that there's a lot of hitbox there that's not very scary. You want to dodge as late as possible and as short as possible, right? It's kind of like with every other boss, of course. Like the longer time you spend just running away, the more time you have to hit, so you can commit more damage with the same amount of gear, right? But in this boss fight, if you spend too long dodging and he aggroes you, he'll walk out of his spot. And what that means is now the right side is not safe anymore, and you have to fight more on the left side. And then these balls come in here, and these are reverse balls. So you already have enough going on. You don't need to be hit by this giant thing that also is reversing your inputs and just absolutely just demolishing you. So that's why you want to keep him in that spot, because you're safe from those mechanics and you still have enough space on the right side. So if you have a slow, that's great. But you want to try to just be stacked together and be on top of him and inside that circle. Because that circle is also like a damage reduction thing like on Magnus, where if you're outside of it, you deal less damage.
I see.
Yeah, so it feels very dangerous to be right on top of him, because he can kick you, and he will kick you, and you will get kicked a bunch of times. But if you learn the timing of the kick, duck it in time, know your skill animations, know how long they are, that's actually where you are the safest. Because once anyone gets kicked, boom, super lasers through everyone, people start dying. Or you get kicked and a blue laser spawns, or one of those little angels, those blue balls, floats on you, boom, you lose a life, right? So it's all about like learning the timing, how long can you buff, how long can you attack, and dodging the kicks. That's the main thing, and that's the hardest part, honestly, of the whole boss fight, is doing that while the other patterns are also going. So that's why I mentioned before, like the extra binds and staggering those actually will make this phase a bit more doable, because you'll have 10 seconds rest every now and then where he's bound, so you don't have to worry about the kicks and you can focus on the other things instead.
I see.
So yeah, sinking burst will take big chunks. He'll also get shields every now and then, but those are, again, for P3 and 4, he'll get shields every now and then, but those are mostly important when you're soloing. Because some characters might be, if you're like super bursty and you're soloing, you might just wait if he has a shield until all your burst is up and then nuke through it. Because otherwise it might be otherwise you might not even, by the time you get through the shield, you might get a new one and then all your damage is gone, right? But if you're full party, you basically just chunk the shield pretty easily. P2 is overwhelming until you see P3. Yeah, basically, yeah. So again, in this party, I have a lot to say about this. This might be very early parties though, but like people are very spread out. They're also sometimes attacking from outside of the shield, so they're losing damage. They're not in a great position. So this would be, as a coach, you would have a lot to say about like the setup here. But what will happen in the beginning is people get kicked a few times and they're like, oh, if I just stay out of the range for the kick, then it's safer. Kind of, but then you make him move more. You make the run actually unsafer for everyone.
I see.
Yeah. So you can't be selfish in the boss fight, because you will just get your whole team killed, and then the run is dead because you can't solo this thing, right? Because of way too much HP. So you have to kind of like, yeah. What feels like less safe is safer.
I think I'm always going to be in the middle next to him though, since I'm a buck. Like I'm always gonna
exactly, and you definitely want to be there. Yeah, because you want your Lord of the Deep damage to be committing constantly.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, this animation is a suck animation. This one, that white orb. So if you're standing anywhere, you'll just get sucked to his position. Very similar to the Lotus skill, right? Mm-hmm. So that might mean if there's stuff flying, you might have to counter steer to make sure that you don't get sucked into that, or you might want to steer with it to make sure you get to him faster, and then can maybe duck underneath something. A lot of times after a suck, he'll also do a kick. Not always, because you can see it here, but very often he will do that. So this is the kick animation. So this is where boss outline and your character outline and stuff might help you quite a bit. But yeah, whatever visual works best for you, right? Like going for blade damage skin or anything like that, or a certain damage skin that as a unit or whatever takes up the space that you're comfortable with. So this is like what you get kicked, and then oh yeah, if you already have the black curse and you get kicked by the other one, you also get sealed if you get double, even if you don't die. You lose a life and you get sealed as well, which is also fucking annoying. Oh. And here you see the animation of the life thing show up on the left side, partially out of the screen, but that means like you lost a life even if you didn't die. So here, like you could technically, if your timing is good, you only have to duck very short time, just under the skill. It's also a good skill to learn though, because like for the Saren, all of the attacks will give you like a bar curse as well. but you can duck underneath every attack and dodge them all. So it's also very useful for later bosses after this. But yeah, that's just going to be the main thing. It's like, oh, you're prepping all your buffs. Okay, maybe you do 2 buffs, you duck another kick. You do another 2 buffs, you duck another kick, right? It's going to be very imperfect in setting up. But yeah, people are going to get kicked. It's going to be annoying. Nobody's going to like it. Everyone knows that they fucked up. But if you have like in total 5 people getting kicked in a run, you're totally cool. If every kick has 1 or 2 people getting kicked, your run is just not going to succeed. It's just not possible. Too many supers, too much damage. Oh yeah, here's the suck attack animation again. But it's never going to look like this. It's going to look like that with a lot of other stuff like flying over it.
I see.
And then, yeah, these are the platforms. These aren't super important. So this for the FMAs, you'll want them. If the platforms are there and the whites come, then the whites will just explode on the platforms and not do anything. So then you don't have to worry about walking through them, right? Or trying to will skill through them. So that's kind of nice. The platform 4 here is a bit annoying. So, like I said, you're going to be fighting him around here, right? Between platform 4 and 5. 4 is a bit annoying because it's so low that when it disappears, and when it disappears it gives white curse, it will actually hit you if you're underneath it. So you have to duck. See, this person here ducked, but they got up too quickly and they got the white curse. So that's the one that you have to be a little bit careful for. The other ones, well, once we get to FMA, we'll talk about that. Yeah, so this is duck. This is where you do your damage. This is when what HP bar it shrinks. But the main thing, you have to just, duck, respect his attack, and always stay on top of him. That's basically, but this is why. This is where you deal like your damage. This is your range. This is your safe zone. Yeah.
Okay.
Where can we see the angels? Yeah, we don't care about the angels too much. Angels are really not scary, but also the angels will float behind him. So even if you think you're safe with a white curse, you're never really safe because they can just be behind him layered and you can't really see them coming. So yeah, so FMA there's 2. There's up FMA, which means, well, we call it up FMA because you have to go up to be safe. So there'll be like a giant black hole vortex on the ground, which does damage periodically. So if you're lucky like this, you might actually not die, but you just don't try it. So basically we always up jump and then just blink and then stay in the air. And very similar to part 2. Oh yeah, so here you can see the whole animation, right? So you can see it go off. You can see the animation on him with the rainbow colors. Boom. Then up, everyone yells up. So you can go onto a platform or you can blink in the air, something like that. As soon as you see the platforms start doing that animation that they're disappearing, you'll also see the shield pop up. And very similar to the FMA in part 2, as soon as you see the shield, that means all the damage is no longer happening. So you can ignore and then go in. So even if you still see like a remnant of the effect on the map or something, as soon as you see the shield, damage is gone and you can go in. That's important for this stage though, because remember the platforms, when they explode, they give you white curse. So as soon as the platforms start doing that, you can down jump through them, and then you won't get hit by the explosion. And you also know the ground is safe because the shield popped up. And again, this is important because the faster you get to him, the less he moves away from his position, and the easier you can get to him and keep doing damage to him, right? Like right here, he's walking to the left very far, and everyone is jumping over here, and everyone's safe. But because they're jumping to the left here, they're putting even more distance between them and the boss, so the boss is walking way out of position now, which is just a bit annoying because then you have to deal with the reverse balls, you have to deal with other stuff, right? So that can be a bit annoying. If he gets too far to the right, you might have to reset, where everyone just goes to the left and then gets a super laser probably, right? Because you're out of target, so you have to dodge that super laser and you wait for him to walk a bit more to the left. If he's too far to the left, you just go stand on his right side and you just slowly walk him back into the meat grinder, essentially. The down FMA is usually a scarier one, because it's just a bunch of balls falling. This one doesn't look as scary. There's not as much going on, but like each one of these balls will one-shot you. But sometimes there's like 2 or 3 times the amount of balls that you see here. So again, those big platforms will break them, just like with the whites that you saw falling just before. So you see here you see the whites exploding on the platform, right?
Yeah, I'm looking at the GIF in the thing too.
Yep. Yeah, so you can have again, like an iframe could also always save you, but if there's a platform on the right, you stand under that. There's a platform on the left, you go stand under that. You'll have an easy time like jumping over and checking. But might also happen is you see here, you see him do the suck animation right there. Sometimes you think you're safe on the right side, and again, you make sure that the boss is not too far to the right, because then if he walks over while you're trying to dodge underneath the platform on the right side, he might just kick you from underneath it, and then you might lose a life there and die to the FMA, right? Which is not good. Or he can also do the suck animation and just pull you out from underneath your safe spot and still kill you and draw you into the danger zone. So even though you're standing right where you need to, you're still not guaranteed, and you still need to be paying attention. So if you see that suck animation, you just call that out, because someone else might be able to respond to that in time. See, this person was in the right position, but they still use their iframe just in case, because their iframe is around a minute or a little bit less than a minute cooldown. So they might as well just use it in case you get sucked out from underneath of the platform. Or the balls also have a little bit of a splash zone, and sometimes, you know, it splashes underneath the platform. So, you know, it's not 100% safe, but those are like the big ones. And then you just go back at him, try to keep him in position, duck in time, you know, and communicate when you're bursting, when you're origining. But that's got to be the longest part of the whole boss fight. P4 is, like I said, is instanced, so it'll look like you're alone, and everyone's fighting the boss alone, so everyone can bind it on their own time. But it also means that your buffs are not buffing your teammates anymore, and the debuffs are also not increasing the damage for your teammates anymore. So as a support, you're just sitting there just waiting for everyone to kill. In general, if you're a lifesteal class, you might want to go for the white aura here. Because then you can get a lot of lifesteal and out damage all of the damage that you're going to be taking. But most people will. That's the most dangerous way of playing, but you get a little bit more damage out of it, right? Most people will play with the black aura. So you can use your NPC chat to switch the aura around you. And here you can see this guy has black aura around him. Black aura means that you are immune to all of the black balls, but you will get hit by the white balls. And that means that you will be getting white curse. So that means that you deal less damage, but you can heal, which, you know, being alive is pretty cool. So that's mostly why you play the black aura. You have to switch this pretty quickly when you get into this phase, because if you have the, let's say you get in here, you want to have black aura, but you have white aura, you get hit by something black, you have a black curse. If you switch, then you can get hit by the other side. Boom, you have both of the auras, you lose life again, right? And you get sealed again. So basically, in the beginning, there's nothing in the map yet. So you immediately look at your character, look at what aura you have. If you're black, cool, stay. Or just go whatever aura your character needs, essentially. And then you never switch out of that again. You could switch out, theoretically, if there's an FMA in this mode. That's just like, I can't go anywhere safe and I don't have an iframe. You could switch, but again, you'll get the aura of the other side, so you could use your will skill, then switch, and then you can switch for free without like taking the extra life there. But essentially, again, with this, the positioning is more important than switching out of that. Technically, that should never be really necessary. So the FMA is like, the FMA I mentioned, are these giant beams. Oh, here actually you see an example of them using the will skill and then switching to make sure that they don't die. I don't know if they have a better picture of it. Yeah, but there's like these kind of like roots, I guess. And you can see the difference here. Isn't there a better picture?
Yeah, it only shows the white. I know there's two colors, right? And you stand on the aura or the curse that you selected.
Well, so not the curse, but the aura. Yeah, the curse will be the opposite, but then the aura will be the same. Yeah. So you can see the difference here. I thought they had. Oh, here it is. Yeah. So here you can, when you see the roots coming, you see that they're like slightly darker, and they will also have either visibly like on the bottom or on the top, the root will be black. So that's what you're going to be looking for, and you want to stand like right in the middle. You can even, it's pretty precise. So if you can find like two of them next to each other, that's preferable, because then you can be quite safe. Because a single one might still, if you're not in exactly the right position, still kind of like, nick you just like three pixels and boom, kill you. But other than that, the main dangerous thing is the bullets that are coming at you, right? So this is all about like kind of kiting. You want to stay as close to the boss as possible while still respecting the attack. So you see this coming, you dodge, and then as soon as that effect is gone, you go closer again. Because if it starts it always aims at your current position. So if you move too quickly, the balls will be all over the place and you can't dodge everything. But if you stay far away and you get like a diagonal range of bullets at you, you might have to work towards the boss and then duck underneath, but there might not be enough room. So it's best to start close and then to dodge further away. And then once the pattern is gone, go close again. Yeah, and then the second thing that's pretty scary. So sometimes also you just go up and you blink and you stay in the air a little bit, right? Over a pattern, for example. But then if the FMA happens while you're in the air, you might have to fall down into it. So the timing there is a little bit more dangerous. Or sometimes you can rush underneath, but rushing towards the boss is always scary because there's a bunch of different patterns that he has, and some of them are dangerous to be to be like right underneath him. So the real big danger is these explosions. So if you're in black aura, the white explosions will be the most dangerous, and they will take a lot of your HP away. So if you're like half HP, you probably want to heal preemptively. If you only have a little bit of damage, you might want to wait until there's an explosion nearby, but this is where you're going to use all of your healing. Yeah. The hitbox is quite big, and sometimes they also overlap, and you can just get hit by 2 and just get 1 tap. So again, there you want to just choose one and jump into one, rather than try to dodge both, because you'll probably then just die. In the very first time in P4 could be a little bit overwhelming, but it's kind of like P2 where even the second or the third time already, you'll feel a lot more empowered, like knowing what you're doing. And it'll be a big difference if you get into P4 with like 1 or 2 lives, then you're just going to be like a, like a scared rabbit, like not knowing where to stand and being like super jumpy. But if you have like 5 or 6 lives, you could be like, okay, I could definitely go in there, do some damage. I die once or twice, it's whatever. Sometimes people will switch more to like healing fams in this stage to, so that they can be a little bit more careful if you get a little bit lower on lives. So, but it's like every man for himself. So usually the first time it gets like very quiet, and people start like super focusing, and then some people are like, "Oh fuck, I died," or something like that. We try to keep the comms clear because everyone's like super focusing, especially on that first clear, on trying to get to the P4 and trying to not die out when you're so close. I guess one general thing, I didn't mention it at all, but if you are going to start doing real runs versus practice runs, make sure that you have beforehand, especially if it's a new party, rules in terms of like, what do we do when someone dies out, right? Like, is it okay? Do we still clear? Do we clear if it's like the last week before the monthly reset? Do we clear only if it's one person that dies out? Is one person okay with it if they die out? Or some people like, if I die out, I want you guys... Just make sure that you have that with the whole party, that you agree on that before going in. Because it's really bad to negotiate that during the run while people are trying to focus and other people are dying out, and you have one person like, I still want to get my run, like I feel like you guys should go out, when everyone else is kind of like, well, I think we should clear because we're so close, and it's like there's only 3 more days in a month or something like that. So make sure you have those rules set up, because you want to be able to stick together for multiple months with these guys, right, and run together, and not be like, well, fuck that party, they ditched me, I'm gonna find another, that'll always... This is supposed to be like a very exciting, very cool thing that you're doing together, and it can get really tainted by how that last situation can go, if you're starting like negotiating whether you should leave or stay in the last moment. That's not a good idea.
For sure.
So yeah, because that could be something that people just kind of like forget about, because when you kill it once or twice in practice, you're like, oh, definitely now we're ready. But just because you kill it a few times in practice doesn't mean you're going to guarantee kill it in real, right? It's still, extra adrenaline and all that.
Added pressure, because it's like you got to get the clear. Now you're already like P4, and dude, like you might as well clear it, And
then 1 or 2 people might be on like 1 or 2 lives in P4, so they might be just like hiding and purely playing survivability, which means you're in there longer, which means the people who have with more lives have more chance of dying because they're not used to being in there that long, right? So yeah. This talks about the crystal, about the badge. Yeah. Well, you know what the Genesis weapon is, right? That's why we're talking about the whole thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So question about the Jenny weapon. So does it count? It's a lucky item, right? So it counts for all of my items sets?
If you have at least 3 already equipped in the set, then it can...
Okay.
So lucky means every set that the type of item is a part of. If you already have at least 3 of that set equipped, it'll count as whatever, how many you have plus 1. So it has to be sets that have a weapon in it, and you have to have 3 of that set outside of the weapon already equipped. Then it'll count. So the biggest thing is that it'll count for number 5 on Arcane, typically, right? Because you have like shoulder, glove, cape, shoe. And then count as 4 for CRA because you have the hat, the top and the bottom, so that gets that extra 30 boss there.
Oh, okay.
And that's why
Does it count for anything else?
No, typically not.
No,
But
right?
that's why we
Okay.
don't. That's why we usually go for the Arcane, go for the CRA hat instead of the Arcane hat, because this will also happen then, and then you have to switch back to CRA hat anyway.
Okay.
Oh yeah, Eternals. Yeah, once you get to, well, it actually, but it doesn't count as a lucky hat for Eternals, but it counts as the weapon for Eternal set. So it's technically not a lucky item there, but it counts for that as well. Yeah.
I see.
A little bit further down the road though.
Yeah, that's well, a little later down the road.
Yeah.
First step is to get the Genesis weapon liberated.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that was a long Black Mage rundown, but I think with that and with going back over this, hopefully should give a lot more context to like where to stand and what to respect and what kind of not to respect too much during the boss fight, right? What not to let cloud your priorities. With all that in mind, have you been doing all the bosses up until there?
Yeah, so I can pretty much solo up to Gloom, Chaos Gloom, and then I duo the rest up to Dark Mail. So
And you say the rest, so you mean Gloom, so including Gloom duo or
Vihila,
solo?
no, Vihila and Dark Mail.
Okay.
I duo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you do Sea Slime solo as well?
Oh, duo. Yeah, my bad. That one too.
Yeah. Okay.
That
Yeah.
one too.
Because they're right, like kind of on the edge, right? Like you can probably do it solo, and it takes just forever. So you might as well
Takes
just
a
duo
long
it.
time.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Totally. And duoing is so much faster. Plus, you're still very close in the value that you're getting versus like a 4-man or a 5-man party. Then you get one ring every 3 to 4 weeks, and then you have to split it 5 ways. Like you're never getting your items. Okay, so yeah, that's a good spot. So I imagine that like BA wise, you're probably where you want to be, or maybe even further. You know how to test the BA, right? Like where to test it with the forest and everything.
Dojo.
Mm-hmm. You have to get a certain floor, but you did that. You need a what?
I need that doc to know like what the because I don't know what the settings were, and I'm like,
it's under exclamation mark BA. So if you check that, there's 2 links there.
I got that one.
Yeah, one is for submitting it, and the other one you can see all the data that everyone ever submitted. So you can also just use it if you want to train somewhere. You can see what Buccaneers trained where and what kind of rates they got, or based on which stat and rings, like what BA some other classes got. So you can see if maybe you're fucking up, or maybe you're doing way better than the average. You can kind of keep track there.
For sure. Yeah, because I was like so lost. What are my settings? Like I don't even know.
Yeah.
Like what am I even testing for? So that's what
I'll probably have to add some. I don't know if I add all the Kalos. Yeah, Kalos and Culling one. Yeah, because then you have to deal with like how long can you do damage for, right? Considering bind, considering boss's self bind, considering origin, considering curring, right? You have to. You could do a 40-second BA, but if the boss is never standing still for more than 8 seconds, then that's not very useful. So trying to pull data, and then then the number starts shifting based on where your sacred power is at, right? Because I guess that's the other thing. As long as you're keeping up with your sacred power, then Saren will become available pretty quickly. Because Saren as a boss is like way simpler than Black Mage, but the damage gate is way higher because of the sacred power that you need, right?
I see.
But once you get through that one,
sac force for Saren?
So I think most people wanted Saren is the one that we don't have. We don't have one for Saren. I always forget, but I think okay, Saren P2 is 200, right? So I think people want to get like 160 at least.
160 at least. Okay.
Let's see, exclamation mark bosses. Let me just double check, make sure I'm not mistaken. Because you got in the boss command, like you got the link to all the bosses here as well, right? So you can check Saren. Normal normal Saren. Here we go. And I think normal and hard have the same requirements. Oh yeah, this auto scrolls down. Yeah, and then just again when it fully loads. 200. Yeah, 150 for phase 1 and 200 for P2. And yeah, P1 is much easier and much lower. So if you're like below once, like you lose 10% final damage per 10, right? So if you're 160, you're losing 40% of your final damage. So that it's already going to be kind of tricky. If you're even lower than that, then you're just holding the entire team back. And there's no easy Saren, sadly. So
okay. So 200 is like a good spot to attempt it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you can definitely start trying out.
Cool.
Yep. Yeah, other than that, there's not much for you to push through the bosses, right? Like solo more stuff but you're already...
I do want to duo more. Well, solo, it's 10 C10 neb at one point. I think right now I just need like to push for 21. Is that like something I could do? Because I feel like it'd be so expensive, like for our games.
Yeah.
Like my rings, definitely I should push it 21, but like the arcanes are the only ones that are kind of like, should I push it to 21?
Oh yeah, I've got an old transposed Sweetwater pen. You working on your Dineros?
Yeah, I've just started working on it again.
Okay, yeah.
Sadly.
Yeah, with a flame like this, you're most likely going to be around the same or even a little bit better than a 22 Daybreak with the set bonus. So if you want to not commit, that's fine, but then you're going to have to rely on a 22 Daybreak, right? To be your second pendant. Which means that your Daybreaks are not going to be fodder for your Superior or your Source, which means that that's all going to have to come from Dominators. If you go harder on the pendants by getting the Dineros, then you'll be able to offload the pressure of the second pendant slot fully onto committing the Daybreaks and the Dominators together as fodder for the Superior, and then later for Superior into Source. So the project as a whole will speed up because the Narrows are taking care of another project for it.
Okay.
And it's definitely a good flame.
I'm working on it again. Yeah. I'm starting to do it again, like with 3 of my buddies. We're doing, because it's dead. It's dead content. No one does it anymore.
Wait, shouldn't when did you transpose your pendant?
A while back before they changed the
but at what Star Force? Because shouldn't it say +8 or something, like in purple numbers on it?
I think this one was already at 17 because I had my pendant, my Sweetwater pendant was already at 17. And then I just got a super lucky dummy roll, and then I transposed it.
Right. Okay. Yeah, because then that might skew the difference in favor of the Daybreak again, because the set bonus with the ring, right? Because you've got like negative numbers on there, which I have too, but -15 on a 95. Oh god, how does this work again? You have +66. You've got +30 gives you a -6 and plus... Okay, so you get a minus every 5, so 5 times 5, so 70. 75, so 20 over? I'm trying to math out if it's... Yeah, because you should have like... Oh, you might have lost the bonus, but you're at +21 at 17. Is 10 and 11 normal at 160? Let me look at that.
Yeah, it's a weird pendant for sure. When I got it after they changed it, I was like, what are that numbers? What are those numbers for,
Yeah, so the magenta numbers are for above average, for below average, basically. But when you transpose, the numbers get readjusted because they don't want to add more stats to you, but they need to make sure that the numbers for the flames make sense for the tier of the numbers of the level of the item that it becomes. So they rearrange the numbers, so the numbers go up, the green numbers for the flames, but to correct for that, they add the magenta numbers so that there's no stats being pulled out of thin air, essentially. So the one thing that compensates for that is the transposing itself. One of the reasons why we did it is to get the bonus stars from 15 to 16 twice by transposing at 16. And then those numbers, because they are getting pulled out of thin air, those show up as purple numbers, which are, in non-reboot, those are the scrolling stats. So if you did it at 16, it should show up as a, yeah, I think it's, is it 8? 9 all stat and 8 weapon and magic attack extra in purple. But since you don't have that,
it was a while back. I don't remember. I just remember having this at 17, and I had a Dom pendant. I was like, you know what?
Yeah,
it's time. So I was like,
oh, the Sweetwater was already 17.
Yes, the Sweetwater was already 17.
Okay, that shouldn't matter. What should matter is the Star Force on the Dominator at the moment that you transposed it.
I believe it was.
So it might have been 15, or it might have been.
It might have been 15.
It must have been below 16, I think. Yeah.
16, something like that.
160. Yeah, 10 attack. Yeah, 10 attack at 15, and then 11. Yeah, so you're just okay. So you do have the benefit of the strong flame. But that is technically like not a flame that you couldn't get on a daybreak. It'd be way hard. It'd be too valuable to chase. So what you basically have is the difference between that flame and the set bonus is what you're going to be looking at for what would be a better project to work on for the long term. Plus what I mentioned at the beginning, the benefit of making it so that the Daybreaks and the Dominators can actually go into backups for Superior and for Source, rather than having to be soaked up for a second pendant slot first, and then also that other stuff, which can delay the project.
Okay.
You should still have... Yeah, so you should essentially have an 80 and 6 Flame Daybreak without a set bonus. It's kind of like how you want to see it, although you'll get 3% extra stat from the set bonus on this, and you get slightly more stat per star. Okay. Let me just show you what it would look like. If you got it to 21, it'd be plus 118 stat and plus 75 attack. So that's 52.
That's the next. That's why I'm doing it again. That's why I'm back in Commercy. I need more fodder. So that's why I'm back. Like I stopped because I was like, I don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah,
but
nobody wants it.
I looked at my stuff. I was like, oh god, I need to do it. It's like, no, I'm trolling if I'm not doing it.
Yeah, I think so, because you're always looking at the set beyond the set that you're kind of moving into. You know, like what's the next step after that? Because if you start doing backups when that's the next set, then you're behind. If you need them. So it's good to start it up. You're leveling up your boat and doing CPQ.
I need to level up the boat. That's one thing I have not done ever, so I need to do that, and I'm doing CPU 3 times a day.
Yeah. So if you do the furthest voyages, you get the best EXP per energy ratio, and that'll allow you to level up the boat as faster, essentially.
I see. Okay. So it's worth it to level up the boat, basically.
If you're going for high Star Force items for like long term, it's just one piece. Whether it's worth it or not, depends, right? Because you have the initial investment cost, but the initial investment cost is like 100 or 200 dineros for the first boat, and then 400 or 500, something like that, for the second one, which is expensive. But one pendant is already 400 dineros, and now per day, I think you make something like 20 dineros or something, 22
something like
maybe.
That.
But if you have the leveled up boat, you make like 48 a day. So. So it takes a while to get that boat, but then once you have it, you just start. You can just make with the CPQ added, you can make like 60 a day or something. Then you can be reigning in backups, and then you can get to like 21 or 22 pretty reasonably.
Because I also have, I pretty much have all the Commercy accessories. So okay, all right, I might as well do it then. Because I did not know that it quadrupled your dinero count per day. Because
more than double in any case. Yeah, if you add the CPQ on top of it, yeah. And that's by just doing dolces and not doing those long voyages as well. So you're just like, you know, it's a half a minute per run kind of thing. Yeah.
I see.
Yeah, so how far you need to be. So one thing would be just to do the BA, right? And just kind of see where you are with the damage. That'll give you a better idea of how far away you actually are of reaching the requirement for something like Black Mage. Because without really having a number on it, it's really hard to tell. What's your culvert? Maybe I can kind of gauge off that.
I think 6 last or 5.8, 5.9. I was really close to 6K. I just messed up my rotation last culvert for sure.
Okay. Yeah, you might be right. Like, so like for comparison, like my marksman and my hero, of course, are too low level, but they're getting like around the 7K. Yeah, depending on events and everything, they're going there anywhere from like 6.6 to like 7.4 or something. But those guys are like way overfunded for Black Mage, for like in terms of the gear that they have. So most people, I think, they start reaching like that Black Mage damage like needed. Again, it's not a perfect science because Culvert is a different situation, of course. But like being around anywhere from like high 4s, like to like really close to 5K to like 6K is where most people also meet the damage requirement for BA. So you might already be there, which hopefully will take a little bit of pressure off, like, I need to start tapping Arcanes. And you can look a little bit more long-term on, like, I'm just going to work on, you know, work on Dineros. I'm going to work on making Meister Rings. Hopefully, you know, soon. They announced soon, right? We get the rework for the professions, so we don't have to wait too long. You know, we don't have the decaying and all that anymore, so you can just craft whenever you need to. There's no Buck doesn't need 100% crit rate for the sheet. For mobbing, you do, but for bossing, you don't, right? You know about that?
I did not know that.
Oh, well, there you go. Someone in chat said it.
Okay,
you have you have like a passive for extra crit against bosses, and then you do extra crit against like debuffed monsters, which is a boss always going to be. So I think if you have 20 crit in your stat window, you hit 100% on bosses.
Okay.
Yeah, you got like 80 passive crit or something. Yeah, so you could redo some hyper stats, maybe some Legion grid setup, maybe some link skills to kind of like squeeze a bit more damage out of your bossing setup. For mobbing, you know you're not gonna hit debuff stuff because you want a one shot and you don't get that bossing buff, of course. So for mobbing, you do want to go harder and visually go for the 100% crit.
Okay, sounds good.
It's a good pick up there for Sism. Yeah. Bossing only. Hey, we completed each other, bro. Good job. Yeah, weapon typically is like 18 or 19 at best by the time you're liberating. You have a 13%. You're one tier lower on the total attack. Are you?
So I threw like 120 flames at this thing and black flames, and yeah, I kind of just gave up on it. The event flames, I was like, you know, man, I'm not lucky, I guess. So.
Oh no, 1 of 6 is the one. Yeah, no, it's a 6 with 13. No, it's honestly fine for Arcane. Yeah, potential wise, if you're gonna use it for a long time, you basically have like that third line is basically 1/3 of a line, right? 10% damage versus the 30 boss line. That is something to look into when that becomes worth it in terms of like a calculator.
My potentials are for sure not finished. Like I just don't see myself like cubing is the only thing in this game I don't like. I love star forcing, I love tapping, but cubing is something I despise in this game. But yeah, I need to fix my potential for sure.
Yeah, we're not looking at any cube sales soon, so might be one of those things. It's one of the things also I'm pretty fine with to just do off event, honestly. Because even on event, it's not a huge discount typically, so it's like 25%, which is nice, but it's not like completely game breaking. So that's 23 attack, 30 boss, 23 bill. That would gain you like 20% damage. So that is definitely something to consider. Yeah, C-Ray. I think walking Arcanes up to 19 is probably going to be a good move. It seems financially expedient, like compared to your setup. You're kind of like locked into this eye patch, though. What are your options here? Do you have any pap marks or?
I do have pap marks. I have.
Two?
I think I have an extra Sweetwater monocle.
Yeah, so that could be an option. So just to kind of like run it down. Here's what I did with my Cannoneer. I had a transposed at 16, right? Pat mark into monocle, and then that one was at 17. That's what I was using. And then with extra dineros, I walked it up to 19, and then I got an eye patch. So then I was like, okay, the eye patch, I want to be able to use it, so it's got to be, even at 19, it's not going to be better than what I have now because I don't have set bonus yet. So even at 19, like a transposed monocle is going to be competing with, or even being, if it was all transposed with the flame, right, it's going to be better than an eye patch at the same stars just by itself, but it's going to lose because of set bonus later. So if you don't have a transposed one already, it's not going to compete at the same level with an eye patch, but you can kind of use it as a backup of an eye patch. So what I did was like, okay, I got the first one at 19, I got the eye patch, I'm going to try to tap the eye patch. The first two boomed, it's whatever. I still have my 19 transposed, right? I basically have in hand something like a 19 to 20 star eye patch, like that's good. And the third one I had went to 21, and then I'm in position like, okay, 21 could be good enough for me, but I already have a drop rate and a meso-obtain eye accessory, so I can now kind of use the transposed eye patch as, transposed monocle as an eye patch backup and try to tap that one at 21. And it also went. Yeah, so now I have both at 21. So now I'm like, okay, now I still have a piece on hand that's stronger and that will stay stronger than eye patch, again, because it's an old transposed one with the flame over. So now I can try to tap the eye patch to 22. Then now if the eye patch booms, I still don't really have to worry because I still made an upgrade. And it actually went to 22, so now I can commit to the eye patch because now I for sure know that I'm going to keep that, for however long. And then the eye patch can stay at 21 and can be redone to like a higher damage drop or meso piece so that I can mob in a higher level area and keep the damage up.
Okay.
So that way you're bringing your investments with you, and because you have a continuity, you have something for it right afterwards for them to fall back on, like a functionality for them to fall back on. So but now once you have eye patch and you like commit to that, it feels really bad to like get rid of that again. But a 17 eye patch is kind of cucked. Like you're kind of
I know. Dude, you have no idea how much I wanted to tap this thing to 21, 5, 10, 15.
But I don't know what you had before this, right? So one thing that you could do is you could either try. You have two pat marks, so you could try to tap one and see if it goes to 21. Because if it does, it'll be substantially stronger than the eye patch, and it'll give you green light to go harder on the eye patch. You could keep the second pat mark. It is legendary. Are you using it for drop or meso or?
I just threw a bunch of a while back. I threw a bunch of cubes. It's randomly legendary. I threw cubes on it and turned legendary, but it's 0 stars. It's nothing. It's just there. Yeah.
So the other option would be the key to either also tap the second eye patch if the first one doesn't go, or to keep the second one for like the guaranteed transpose, quote unquote, guaranteed because it can take a while, into an eye patch, and then use that one as an alternate to basically walk the eye patch up so that you keep either a transpose eye patch or transpose monocle or an eye patch as your final piece for your damage piece, and then you don't have to feel as bad if something blows up, because even though it sucks losing an eye patch, if you have a 17 eye patch, you don't have an eye patch. Like 21 or 22 are basically like the only stars where you can really say like I have a pitched, right? Until then, what you have is a potential trace and a money sink, essentially. If you were somehow, your gear is 17 or 18, you can't get past that, and somehow you get a pitch drops and they're sitting in your inventory, and you have like 4 different pieces, now the equation becomes a bit different because now the set bonus can come in, right? And then, even then, I would still walk them up always, or set up the contingency to always walk them up to 19 at least before I start switching into them, because typically 17 to 19 is pretty low risk, but it's a huge gain, and you've probably noticed that with your arcanes, right? Going from 17 to 18 and then to 19, relatively low risk, but huge gains. Before actually committing to the pitch, because you kind of put yourself in a corner, because the only way out is another pitched, which good luck. And if you get another pitched, what are you going to do? You're going to tap the other one on the side. You're going to until it's one higher, and then walk them up equally, right? Or you're just going to tap the other one at 22. It booms at 19 to 20. Now you're stuck on your 17 again. So you get the other one to 18, then try to get this one to 18. This one goes, you get the other one to 19, you get this one to 19, right? but then you're basically doing the same like you could be doing with the transposed monocle. But you can do it without needing the extra pitch. So that's how you can use that.
Does that change the equation if I get the book, the wheel book? Like
a little bit, but it's what is it, 10% boss
still,
on the 2 set?
Yeah, it's still like whatever, right?
Yeah, it's not the biggest difference. I think the first, I don't have the set bonus here on hand, but I think, is it the 4 set when the first critical damage comes in?
I believe it is the
3 set maybe, 3 or 4.
It is the 4th set for 5% crit damage.
Yeah, so 2, 3, 4, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, until then, it's not that big. I mean, it's nice. It's mainly just like if you hit those singular ones, then it's easy. So like you hit a book, that's always like a brain dead, pretty much instant pick. Not for all classes all the time, but pretty much instant pick. If you can get the source, that's pretty much an equip, and then the berserk and the eye patch are pretty much picks to get in there. But that's, again, when they hit, and when they hit means 21 or 22. Not 17 or 18 or 19 just doesn't quite count. It kind of sucks, but it's just, there's other alternatives, right? Because you can get like a 20, if you get a 20 Star Force Black Bean mark, that'll be better than a 17 eye patch, right? And then it looks cool having an eye patch, but it's like, it's not, it doesn't give you damage, which that should be the main goal. So what a lot of people do, anvil the first pitch onto something, you know, so that even when you trace it, you can still show everyone that you at least got one, you know, so you hold on to some of your honor, but you go more for the functionality of the damage of the piece. So I'd say options is try to tap a Pap Mark. Backup could be even just to try to tap a Black B Mark in the meantime, because you're going to be working on those Dineros for a while already for the pendant. So if you don't want to commit those pendants, those Dineros immediately to transposing and to the eye patch as well, because that'll slow down getting your Dineros to be able to afford ranking up your boat, right? And then that delays that project again. So you could also just work on the B marks for now. Use the B mark as a walk up for the eye patch. If the eye patch booms, then yeah, that could be. There's a few options there, so you can kind of take your pick. But either way, there's quite a few things that you could select that would allow you to risk more on your eye patch without risking your damage.
For sure.
Yep. Okay, I think spend enough time on the eye accessories. But yeah, just to show to everyone as well that there are options, and if you have drop rate and you do your content, then you can give yourself options. Because it might seem like you hate Commercy, but if you do Commercy and you have a lot of Dineros and then you get a Pap Mark, now you can actually give yourself a fallback to potentially just have more chance of getting a high star for pitch without having to just YOLO it. You can actually do it in a more secure way, and even if it does fail, you'll be left with an upgrade in another piece instead. So yeah, a lot of time people just overlook Commercy, so I'm trying to make sure that people don't stop doing the content and then get it removed, maybe, you know. Secondaries.
Party nowadays.
Sorry, what do you say?
It's so hard to find a party in Commercy.
Oh,
nowadays.
for CPQ? Yeah. Usually I just ask in chat if anyone wants to go. So if you're ever trying to go, just yell in chat, or if I see it, I'll try to amplify it. Yeah, sometimes if you go there, Doc 1, there might be a random person there, but I try to have a party before even going there, or I'll start running my solos and then just ask, and if enough people show up, then I'll just ditch it and then continue afterwards. But yeah, you can't always find someone, that's for sure. I think a lot of people run like right at reset. I think it's what I've seen. If you go there right at reset, there's a lot of people that show up and then they get it done for the rest of the day because they hate the content. And because of NA, they tend to run like right at reset. For me, EU, I try to run like in the middle of the day, which is like fucking, I don't know, like 1 p.m. or something in NA. So yeah, they're not out there CPQing.
I see.
So we got the drop and meso gear. All meso. Wait, 2, 4, 6. You got 7 meso pieces? Is that what you have?
Yeah. Well, yeah, 7 right now. All those are my that was my meso gear back when I was meso farming, but I turned all my stuff into drop gear. So yeah, those are whatever I had meso. This is all I had. Like I put them all together. Kind of just mix and match what I need.
Okay. And is anything like double? Is anything like
No.
hybrid or
I
double?
wish.
Oh,
I wish.
okay. Yep.
I hate cubing. I don't like it.
Yep.
Yeah.
The benefit is that if you are going for those, it's financially best to use bright cubes. So you can just set yourself a budget and be like, I'm gonna spend 10 bill, and if you don't hit, you don't hit, and if you do hit, you do hit. But at least you'll always be able to fall back on the stuff that you had. But with that in mind, you know, with that kind of budget, like going closer to 20 bill, you almost want to start looking at doing the weapon before then, because, you know, it'll help you with Black Mage, it'll help you get to solo C10A, all that stuff. But and you're gonna keep it for like at least like 8 more months, as long as you're not even living yet, right? So that'll still stay with you for a while. Well, since we talked about the drop in mezzo here, how's your familiar situation? You got your
I have the large drop rate.
Okay, nice.
For a while before you know, the XP changes and all that, and the before I hit 260, I was at Limina farming, but
Gotcha.
after that, I kind of was just like, you know, I'm just gonna go full XP and push for 270, and kind of stop. But I do have those familiars right there.
Gotcha.
Best ones I've got. Yeah.
Okay.
No boss sucks, but it is what it is.
Yeah, no boss. 20 IED, a little bit of healing. You have any party healing or only solo healing?
No, that's that's all. I always get like 6% look, 6% int, increased jump, stuff like that.
But you're doing you're duoing Fihela?
Yes.
Okay, and that's doable with just the self healing. Like your party member isn't like, yo, give me some heal, bro.
Yeah. Well, my party, my duo is a mechanic, and we clear pretty quick. Yeah.
Okay.
And he has the healing, so we're chilling.
Okay. You got your bases covered then with that. That's good.
I do want the party healing though. It's just so I'm gonna do that on my Corsair when it's at limiter right now. So I'm just gonna try to get some.
Yeah, I saw you had a 256 or something. Yeah.
Yes.
What's your hyper burn? Oh yeah, so you're trying to finish this one before the end of the event. A full Abzo, Pat Mark there as well. And you've got drop rate set on there.
Yeah, I just got 200. I think 180% or something like that. 200 total off the event, the miracle time. So pretty nice.
Okay. Hero, Shadower, Blaster boss meal. Oh, we don't see that too much. Okay, nice. Represent.
Yeah, he was my hyperburn last time, but I gave up on him, and now I'm working on him again.
Gotcha. Sending him some love, even though he got abandoned at the monastery, kind of thing. Mihail is fun, yeah. As a boss mule, I burned that one at 250. Not a moment's regret.
I regret not choosing my Mihail as the my hyperburn, but you know what? It's cool. He's fun. He's fun to play.
And just more events. Like there's another hyperburn coming as well, right? I could always do this one. Get this one to like 414, 40. Oh no, 48 would be. If you keep him 212, you would get to 260 with another hyperburn, right?
Yep.
If you still, yeah.
I would probably choose my Mihail.
Yeah, I like it a lot. I mean, I don't have him at 260, so I can't really speak to the Origin or the 6 job. But yeah, for my boss meal, it's probably one of the favorite ones to do. Way stronger than you might think, and you know, once you get the timing down on the shields, you just immune the whole boss fight. You're just gonna like sit around.
Is so good. Oh my gosh.
There's so much damage, and not having to dodge and just being able to stay in the pocket and being able to just keep wailing on a boss. And
so
I think that gets
Crayola
overlooked.
eating, but it's so fun.
But they made the timing a lot more forgiving. It used to be quite a bit more challenging, and yeah, I didn't like it back then. But since they made the timing way wider, way more forgiving, definitely much more playable. Oh, here you have your questions. Let's see if we got through most of this. Strong mechanics, Ruby for Black Mage. Yeah, so you feel like we talked about most of that?
Yes, yeah. Yep.
Gear potentials aren't perfect. The pots. Yeah, so I'd say do the BA. I'd be surprised if you were far off with the BA. And if you're far off on the BA, it's probably something that you just have to practice a bit more on, like the timing of things to set up. Maybe check like Buccaneer Discord, or kind of like see if there's any kind of sources on like how to burst properly as a buck if you're off. But I would be surprised if you'd be under 75 millisecond on this character. I would guess that you'd at least be like 80 to 85 if I had to guess. But it could be off a bit, you know, there's class diff and everything. Where to look for Black Mage parties? So there's a few things. We're trying to do it through the guild. So there's another party that we set up recently that are doing practice mode now. I don't know if the party with Zykur in it is completely full. I think it is. But it's good that you're like on my radar. But I would say like, you know, if in the Discord, we should have a room there for Black Mage as well. If you see people that are like chatting in the Discord, I would jump in and be like, hey, I'm trying to start practicing Discord. Does everyone know anything? You could always just ask, right? If nobody knows anyone, that's fine. But I would say you could just ask. If you're still in the practice mode, I would also just, if there's like smegas of like people trying to do like BM practice or something, I would just jump into that, because any practice is good in the beginning. Just more hours into it will just give you a little bit more of an idea of how important it is to be on the same page with everyone. And maybe you could pick one or two people up there who are trying to be like more serious, who want to do a lot of practice, for example. Because you already have Vihela clears, right? So you can already make keys. So it's not like you're, some people are like, oh, I want to start practicing, but they're like level 264. They're, not even sure if they're going to be playing a lot. They've never done Vihela before. Even if they do get there mechanically, they're still going to be behind in terms of like damage output, in terms of keys to be able to keep up and everything. So it's tough. You're looking for people who are equally serious, who are roughly the same damage, who have like same time zone availability. There's quite a lot of, so you have to look in a lot of places. So I would look at the boss menu. I would look at, you can look at my Twitch chat, you look in the guild chat, look in the alliance, because we have an alliance. We have Rainsong also has a bunch of strong people. And if you have super strong people, then maybe their second or their third character is running Black Mage, right? So you always have someone somewhere that's like on their way to Black Mage. But I know about it now, so I'll keep an eye on it. I'll make sure if I see anyone in chat asking about it, I'll make sure to have them message you. So if anyone knows anyone who's going to start up Black Mage, Bandit Keith here, he's going to do his BA and make sure that he has the damage. And he's already done a little bit of practice. And he's gotten like an hour rundown of the mechanics. And he's got the giant file of 90 pages that he's going to be reading inside out every day from now on.
Of course. The Bible.
Oh, forgotten. Are you in a set party now? Are you in the party with Zykur and them? Forgotten was also running. Because I think Corey's party, but they're full, I think. But they practiced with 5, and they actually cleared it with 5 people because one person couldn't make the practice. So they're going to be clearing next week, hopefully. He has to be it for sure. I think so too. Yeah, I'd be surprised if he wouldn't hit it. Or with Joe and Colmar, gotcha. Okay. But yeah, the main thing is just, if you're looking for parties, just look in a lot of different places. Because you look in one place, there's a good chance that you don't find someone there at that time. But if you look at a lot of places and you pick up a person in every place, then boom, you have a party together. And it's going to be a little bit extra work, especially keeping people together and organizing it in the beginning. But once you start seeing practice in the runs, people are going to want to show up and are going to want to be there because they want that clear, because it's that 8-month grind. So the sooner you get it started, the better.
I do want to get it either this month or next month. Like, that's why I'm trying to look for a party now, because by the end of this 2024, I do want to be liberated. Like, I feel like that's like my next like step. I want. Yeah,
damage wise, it's definitely, I think that's the thing that you should be looking for sure. Okay, Solo C10A currently doing with the guild member. Yeah. Benchmark. Yeah, I mean, honestly, once your duo runs just becomes so quick that you're like, yeah, we should be soloing this. If you start feeling like, so what did you run against? Sea Slime, and Hard Darknell and Vihela, right?
Villa.
Yeah. And you finish all of that within like 1 G skill?
We do 2 in 1. We do usually Slime and then Vihela with the G skill. Slime is usually 1 or 2 origins, and then Vihela is like 3 or 4 origins.
Yeah, I think once you start doing all 3 of those like within your G skills, and you still have some G skills left, at that point you want to be looking at, okay, but you're doing with a mechanic, they're more supporty, so it depends on, I would say, a little bit your personal feelings towards them, because it might be easier for you to just go solo versus letting a support go solo, because now they're a little bit more fucked if you let them, right?
They are stronger than me though. They're 277.
Okay.
But we have about the same, like, I would say we very close in damage. Very close in damage.
Okay. Yeah. Again, no expert in like mechanic late game damage. Don't have any personal experience with that. But I would just float the idea once you start, like, you know, if you start killing all three like within a G skill and you still have some G skill left, you might. Or it just becomes hard to schedule the runs or something, and start looking at like, hey, we still haven't gotten a drop. You know, I love running the bosses with you, but I think it'd be better for both of us if we solo, if you have the availability, because then we just have double the chances of getting pitched, and otherwise it's just going to take forever.
Yeah.
Or you can start like quote unquote like exchanging. Maybe if you have another character, you bring that to their run, they bring a character to your run. You still get the crystal, right? Because you just sell halvesies twice. But then you have more chances for ring boxes or something, and then you can still get to run together. So there's options there.
Okay.
That's usually what I'm looking at, because then you just have priority loot for the DPS, and then, but then you still have chance for ring box, chance for arcanes, right? And then that can bring you up. And it's not like you're bringing a level 230 who's just like eating crayons in a corner, but you're bringing like a level 250 or 260 who can also origin and help with the binding, and who can definitely hit a blue or a green orb, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm always looking at it from the angle of like, I do a lot of stuff alone, and doing some bosses with a homie every week is kind of fun, and I don't want that to have to choose, like, do I want to progress in the game, or do I want to do something together with a friend? So
I see.
I try to find the middle road there. Yeah, so I said benchmark is just when the runs get super fast. What are some battle analysis settings that I should use in BA? So hopefully that's all clear now.
Yep. Got that.
Is pitch waiting room really my current stage right now? So pretty much, but like I said, you can speed up and you can give yourself more options through Commercy. So I'm pretty sure like you're on the Commercy, you're on the boat now, right?
I'm on the boat. I'm in there.
Yeah. All right. Sails, ship ahoy, whatever. Sails.
We're sailing.
All right. That's cool. Hero one-handed or two-handed. So I'm usually fine with people going one-handed early on. Just so it frees up your inner ability needing that attack speed +1. Because that can be very annoying to need to get that, right? If you go two-handed, then you have to get the inner ability. It's not so much for the attack speed that you get more attacks off. It's just that all the animations are a little bit faster, so it's easier to dodge things.
I see.
You feel less clunky. You can dash out of the way. You can iframe just in time, maybe, you know.
For sure.
So I like that. So usually I say for early people, you can go one-handed, but then go to the same secondary that you're going, so that the investment in the secondary can just transfer over, and you don't have to invest into a shield and then divest from a shield again. But it's just to save the inner ability. But if you're okay with going straight two-handed and then just dumping some money into circulators just to hit that attack speed +1 on the inner ability, then that compensates for that, you know. So if you're rich, you can kind of brute force your way through it. So I don't know, is it like a fake Absolab, or is it a...
That is a fake. I have enough. I have enough to buy it. It's just no money to start force my CRA right now. So that's gonna be. It should be 17 Absol either next week or the week after that. So I'm kind of working on the mules now.
I gotcha. And using the MMTs and everything to tier stuff up.
Yep. I didn't get as much stuff to, like, I got the, some stuff to a lot on my Corsair to legendary and my hero, but not my Shadower, which is kind of whatever. But we take what we get.
I'm honestly a huge fan, especially if it's a bossing mule that's not going to go all the way, of keeping a lot of stuff unique. Because then all of the cubes, all of the the hard cubes and the solid cubes you get, right? But you get a lot of hard cubes. That all of those could just help roll 9 and 12% basically for free. If you get that on all of your pieces, you don't really need that many legendaries. I would say weapon, secondary, and emblem, if you can, right, to legendary. If your character needs cooldown reduction on the hat, maybe that one. If you have an absolute glove, maybe critical damage on there, right? But if everything else is like epic 9% or unique 9 to 12%, maybe 15 on accessories, but 9 to 12 with all the free cubes, your characters are very easily going to hit like 25k stat as long as you get some symbols in there, and that means basically like Slime, Lotus Damien, like everything below, like up to Hardhilla, all done within half an hour, within a G skill, and that money's going to roll in, and then you don't pay that premium of like 400 mil-ish per item to get it up to legendary, because that's like, you know, 10 items per character, that's 4 bill per character, that could just be spent on the next character to get that character up instead.
Okay.
So I wouldn't undercount unique, especially not on CRA. I'll have characters that have like epic CRA, but that's 21 star, for example, because the star forcing is way more beneficial on CRA compared to anything else that you can star force at that time because of backups, right? But when it comes to potential, tiering up to legendary on CRA is actually torture, because you can't hit potential on CRA. Like, you can get lucky, and you probably did, to prove me wrong in this case, but it's very hard to hit even like 21% or something better than that on legendary on CRA. It's just pretty expensive.
Yeah.
So I'm fine with going a little bit lower.
I think I did those on Miracle Time. That's why I had extra cubes and money, and I just threw it on there for my hero.
Yeah, I'm not saying that's like a horrible decision, but just like in general, there's a lot of value in unique. Once you capitalize on the unique value, then I would go to the next tier, like up to legendary. So I probably, yeah, but it's not like in old TMT where you could just cube something else. You have to cube like specific items, right? So yeah, it's possible that you're a little bit cornered there, but that's how I would like approach like the funding on all of them. But yeah, you see here you have your secondary, legendary, and then the emblem is already unique. Yeah, that can that's where all the damage comes from, right? So as long as those are on point, secondary on the Mihail maybe a little bit, yeah. Okay. That's all the questions you had written down here. Is there any topic we kind of missed or something you want to go over?
I guess one thing I would like to ask is the meso cap change. Like, is, I know it's on in the test server and like it's all speculation, but it seems like it's probably gonna go down. And I really hope GMS doesn't implement this. But like, how is this really gonna affect us? Like, you know, it's obviously gonna suck because we're not gonna get money. But like, you know. What are your thoughts? I guess that's a closing statement.
Yeah. Well, I did upload the video about it. The way it basically is, it seems what I think they're gonna do is not necessarily give us that much less money than we have now, but just give it to us from different sources that aren't as easy hackable and bottable, because they seem to be having a huge botting and hacking problem in Korea. So certain things like Ursus that are just axing is basically because bots are just like, they added the 300 monster kill, right? They added the 1,000 monster kill later, but apparently the problem still persists. So the only way that they can deal with that is just by killing the content completely. What I like to think, but maybe it's too positive an interpretation, is that it's not just like, hey, we want people to just hate reboot and come back to non-reboot. I think that's definitely part of it though. But I think what they're just trying to shift is where the money comes from, where the income comes from, and then just make it come from things that are not as easy bottable. But it seems like all of those things are still either in production and they just can't share anything about yet. So what they're doing is already doing the front nerfing, but not doing the counter buffing yet, or announcing what that is yet, which obviously nobody's going to agree with and be happy with. So I'd be surprised if it would go through in the way that they're setting it up. And I'd be even more surprised if it would go through now without having those countermeasures already in place. I know someone said like jokingly in chat, maybe they don't want to say what it is yet because otherwise the bots could already start building a way to start benefiting from it. Honestly, that might be kind of true.
That sounds so true.
But if they don't show like, this is the thing that's going to come into the play, this is roughly how much money is going to make, like this is going to compensate for that, this is going to compensate for that. What they're now saying is like, okay, you're gonna make 1/5 of the money, and you're gonna gain like 0.6% of your money on star forcing, but also cubes are no longer gonna drop, and cubing costs about, like over twice as much. It's like, and no, that's it. Like, oh, where's the other side for that? I can understand that they think that Reboot is getting too much money. If you look at GMS reboot, we have way too much money, right? The fact that 23 starring and double priming everything is like standard is kind of fucking crazy when you think about it. But there's better ways and like more balanced and even ways of curving that, rather than just like chopping off our feet and being like, and now go and now keep running. You know, that's kind of what it looks like right now, and there's no counter, yeah. So
Okay.
I'm expecting KMS to revolt hardcore and make them clear that that's what they feel like.
Hopefully, because that sucks. Like, when I read that, I was like, man, that sucks.
Yeah, just those 2 lines, I tweeted them out as well. It's like, by the way, no more mezzo. What was it? Just no more mezzo for reboot, and the crystals also cut. I was like, okay. That's huge, yeah.
Yeah. Alright, well, I
Yeah,
think that's it for me.
Yeah, we didn't talk about the matrices and everything, but I'm sure your V matrix is pretty much
matrix,
completely
yeah.
done, and then the hexa matrix is slowly building up. Yeah, oh, level 9, nice. The 3 come in, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I want to focus on the pause. I mean, I want to focus on like more origin skills and stuff, right? Like that's the exciting part. There's like 5 more origin slots. Like that's gonna be sick, right?
Yeah, I can't wait.
And the Soliana skill and everything.
That's why I want to keep playing this game, and I hope they don't kill it, because I want to see the rest of the 6 job, you know?
Yeah, it'd suck if that was only available for the people who would like suffer through whatever this, I don't know, fever dream. I don't know what they were smoking when they thought this was a great idea. Oh, let me sure I don't show your Legion setup too much because people are gonna get upset. There's some things sticking out. People's OCD will start going right. Okay, yeah, if there's anything else based on a session that comes up that you think is a bit more complicated or more personal, then you could just reach out through Discord. But otherwise, I'll be available in the Twitch chat, or you can just yell in the guild chat or the Alliance chat when there's not an MMT going on, so people can actually read messages. Because, on these days, it's impossible to read anything there.
Yeah.
So yeah, hopefully that goes possible. But yeah, other than that, I'll wish you the best of luck. And I'll keep an eye out for any BM parties that I see forming around me. But yeah, just put some feelers out, post in as many places as you have access to, and just try to join in as many runs as you can so you could feel more comfortable with the boss fight, honestly. Because BA is one thing, but like having the hands and just the experience is way more important.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm excited. I really want, I think that's like the goal. Obviously that's like the main goal, but since I started playing this game, I've seen a Genesis weapon. I'm like, I want that item. So I'm like, at this point, it's time.
Yeah, it represents so much more than, it's not like in, we're not playing in non-reboot where you can just buy something from an auction house or something, but it does mean that you've survived at least like 8 or 9 runs, that you've committed to that for that long. Yeah. And it's worth, the final damage, the extra iframe.
So
Iframe is also getting buffed, so you'll immediately be getting that buffed iframe.
Poggers.
For a 2-minute cooldown. Yeah, it's gonna be nice.
Hell yeah.
Okay, well, but yeah, best of luck, and I'll see you around the chat and in other places.
Awesome. Thank you so much, man. Have a great day. Have a great stream. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome. I'll see you around. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Awesome. What a nice guy. Our Gildy Bandit Keith. So he's looking for Black Mage Party if you're setting one up. Starting Mage Party. He's got a little bit of practice under his belt, but it's probably a little bit... What did it say? Green around the ears or something? Blue around the ears? Whatever. He's got some color around his ears. But didn't we all at some point? He's going to lower his crit rate a little bit when bossing. He's going to get some damage out of that. Prioritizing his upgrades... Valuing his Commercy Dineros as a backup for pitched pause check? Yes, that is technically possible. And then once those easier Star Force gains are all in there, he's got all of his 19s, maybe 22 CRA, then I would say a big sweep of the potentials. Try to clean those up. Maybe the weapon. Try to get some 2.5 lines on things, right? But a lot of things, you want to make sure that the Star Force is there before you commit to the potential. right? Because if you're going to be transfer hammering, if you're going to be switching to another piece, then you have to redo the potential anyway, right? So you want to make sure that the star force is there so you can commit to it for long term by getting a good flame and then good potential on there. All right, so hopefully this was a useful session for people who are also on the cusp, getting to those late 260s, early 270s stage, and you're like, can I even Black Mage? Hopefully this gives you some information on where you roughly want to be at and how you can check if you're at the point, and hopefully also some tips on where to look for Black Mage party. There are Discords, there's the boss setup, Twitch chats, you know, just putting feelers out, building out your buddy list, alliance, guild chat, all of that. Make sure you look everywhere, because those are the people who get ahead. Those are people whose name is out there. Those are the people who will get caught, you know. It's kind of like, basically like networking, right? You're trying to look for a certain job, for a side gig, and the more you're networking and the more people know that you're actually looking for something, the more likely that they'll mention your name somewhere. So hopefully useful for those people in that situation. If you like this session, I'm glad. Hopefully it helps you. And if you want to see more of these, then there'll be like a playlist that shows up. If you want one of these sessions, check the description of the video or use !coaching over at Twitch. You can see Twitch chat all the way there on the left side. This was live on the stream. So if you want to be there, twitch.tv/Scarter, that's where I stream every day. That's where I also do these sessions. And if you want to, so if you want one of these sessions, there will be information in the command. Viewers can get some for free if you're a subscriber over at Twitch. And also 2 lucky people every month will be drawn from the comment section of these session videos. People who said that they would like to win and who include their Discord name so I can reach out to you. 2 of those people will get a free session as well. Once we get into February, I'll draw from the January comments. So don't forget to do that if you would like to win. Other than that, thank you for watching. And I'll see you either over at stream, where I stream every day, or see you on the next, enjoy the next video. Or see you in the next video, I guess. Take care. Have a good day.